Alright, welcome to another video flying the CRJ-700 on Microsoft Flight Simulator. This video we're going to do an approach into Raleigh Durham via the Melner 5 arrival. We'll do it live on here. We're doing it on a Friday night event, VATSIM across the country. A lot of places are staffed, so we should have ATC coverage all the way down. We're just approaching the Pyres transition into the Melner 5 arrival, so we'll go ahead and do our briefing for the descent. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and brief our arrival. As you can see, we are approaching the Pyres transition. From there, we're going to fly the Melner 5 arrival. So let's go ahead and brief the Melner 5 arrival. All right, so let's do our arrival briefing. Okay, so we are flying the Melner 5 arrival for Raleigh Durham International. We are going to enter through the Pyres transition. Okay, we're going to cross Journey at flight level 230. And then we're going to make sure that we cross Melner at 17,000 or below 17,000 feet and above 11,000 feet. These values here just specify the 135.902 for Jacksonville Center, Skywest 761. Okay, so just had to do a quick radio change. Jack Center, Skywest 761 with you, 370. I said with you, you're not supposed to say with you?
761, Jacksonville Center, good evening, where you're coming out of?
Currently passing over Pyres, inbound for Raleigh Durham.
Skywest 761, good evening.
Okay, had to change our frequency really quick, so we're going to go ahead and do our departure, or arrival, continue our arrival brief. Okay, so we verified the destination and all that stuff. We've got some frequencies on here, Raleigh approach, they're not online, so we're not going to use them. We'll probably be with DC Center. Go to our next page. So we're going to cross Melner at 17,000, below 17,000, above 11,000. And then we're going to go proceed direct to Nigel, where we will cross probably at 10,000 and 250 knots. And then Autos at 6,000, 210 knots. We can expect runways 5 or left or 5 right. From there, if we look at our notes right here, landing runways 5 left or 5 right from Melner on track 030 degrees. That's over here, 030 degrees. Cross Nigel between 9 and 10,000 feet at 250 knots. Then track 64 degrees to Autos at 6,000 and at 210 knots. Expect ILS or RNAV runway 5 left or 5 right. We've got some time before, so I'm going to expect runway 5 left, but we'll brief 5 right if we get 5 right. Okay, so ILS, we're gonna use the ILS for 5 left at Raleigh Durham International. The localizer DME is 109.1. The final approach course is 054 degrees. Some information about the runways. Some requirements for our landing. So we need DME, IRU, or GPS. Radar required for procedure entry. DME or radar required for localizer only. This is the lighting system. So it's a medium. This is the runway lighting system. Some instructions for missed approach. So if missed approach, climb to 10,000. Then execute a climbing left-hand turn to 2,200 feet on a heading of 310 degrees. These are the frequencies that we will use. So Raleigh Tower, Raleigh approach, D-ATIS, etc. Then this is a plan view of the approach. So we're going to, initial approach fix is auto. So you can actually fly this without air traffic control. We can fly autos direct to the initial approach fix. Sorry, the intermediate fix. So this is the initial approach. Autos is the initial approach fix. But I believe we're more likely to get vectors to final. Final approach fix altitude is 2,200 feet. And then our minimums on this approach today are going to be 598 feet or about 600 feet, 214 feet above the ground. That's a condensed approach briefing. Real life, we'd probably spend a little more time on some of the stuff indicated in the map, but no runway assigned yet, so we're going to see what they give us.
Skywest 761, descend and maintain flight level 230.
Descend and maintain 230, Skywest 761. Alright, so we're getting a descent clearance before. Been given a descent clearance prior to top of descent, so we'll just go ahead. Looks like we're going to 260. Alright, let's go ahead and execute. Let's go ahead and start our descent. Speed mode, we'll hold our current speed. We're going to trade altitude for airspeed here and maintain about Mach 7.4. Okay, our descent checklist, landing elevation set, fuel check, TCAS is active and set. Radar off, it's not functional in this game. Crew advisory systems check, landing data. So we need to go to our performance page. set our landing day to expecting dry runway conditions, and we'll just set all of our V speeds according to our perf.
I got a lot of air. American 365, turn right, heading 090, vectors for sequencing and traffic.
So I don't know where they're flying into, but they seem pretty busy. As you can see, it's going to be getting dark as we descend into Raleigh Durham. Probably going to lose our sunshine pretty soon here.
Jackson Wheel Center, Delta 2816, flight level 350. Got the aircraft call sign only? 2816.
We're going to go ahead and program our arrival. So I'm expecting ILS 5 left. Because we have 5 left selected, we're most likely going to have it's going to auto-tune to the ILS, so I shouldn't have to do any of the other stuff. Passing flight level 300 down to 260. Alright, so as we approach top of descent here, we're going to start to get VNAV guidance from the flight management computer. You'll see it pop up on the right hand of our attitude indicator. We're going to be well below our descent path because we got clearance to descend quite early. So we'll be below it, but that's not a problem. We'll probably catch up to it as we go. They'll probably have us hold 260 for a while, so we'll probably catch up to the VNAV guidance. We're not quite there, but it's going to pop up to on the right-hand side. There it is. So we are a little bit below. I don't actually know what these dots represent, how much feet of disagreement, or don't know how many feet of deflection off the flight path that is, but we're below, as we would expect. So we're getting VNAV guidance from the flight management computer now from this point on.
Clipper 77 Heavy, you're going to get your clearance as soon as I can.
So at this point I could tell that the controller was overloaded with aircraft, and I was pretty much the only plane flying into the Raleigh Durham area, so I was going to try and see if I could take some weight off his shoulders and just request a descend via the Malner 5 arrival, which basically just gives us autonomy to meet the required altitude and speed restrictions on the descent and basically navigate the descent ourselves. Jack Center Skywest 761, request permission to descend via the Malner 5.
No more step arrays. Everyone's going to stay on frequency. I'm sorry.
This guy's pretty overwhelmed. Got a lot of aircraft in his air sector. He's all by himself. And we're going to get hung up here pretty high, but that's okay.
Jackson Center, American 340 with you, 33 miles Nordic School from IPOC. Can't seem to fix this issue with the aircraft disconnecting, mate. See ya.
Jack Center, Skywest 761, request permission to descend via the Malner 5 arrival into Raleigh Durham.
Skywest 761, I'll give it to you. If you get in contact Washington in 1 second here, you can they'll give you lower.
Okay, Washington Center, 133.72. Okay, so I requested lower.
61, contact Washington Center, 133.72.
13372, Skywest 761. Trying to get lower than our current altitude has been a problem. He's pretty busy. Just handed us over to DC Center. So we're going to get switched over to DC Center. 133.72. Washington Center, Skywest 761, flight level 267. 260.
Skywest 761, good evening, sir. Washington Center, welcome aboard. Current weather at Raleigh, wind 060 at 3, altimeter 3005. Sky conditions clear, temperature 2.12. Expect a visual approach. Would you like 5 left or 5 right?
Like 5 left for 761.
Alright, expect a visual approach, runway 5 left, descend via the Malner 5.
Descend via the Malner 5, Skywest 761. Alright, so we got some catching up to do. So we're going to engage the speed mode and catch up to our...
Washington Center, welcome aboard. Climb and maintain.
We'll go ahead and set this down for 10,000. And we'll be sure to stick to any altitude restrictions listed on our flight plan. Alright, so as you can see, we are not that far above our current flight plan, our VNAV from the flight management system. So if we're above it, I'm going to take engine power out, and once we get closer to it, I'm going to start to add engine power. We're going to descend at about our current airspeed. This seems to be doing just fine. And we're going to make sure that we don't violate any airspace violate any altitude restrictions. So we have to be at or above 230 crossing Jerdy, which looks like we'll be crossing Jerdy right at 230, maybe above, which is fine. We need to be above it. We just want to keep this asterisk pretty much dead on the center there. So I'm going to take a little bit of engine power out, accelerator, descend a little bit, and get that back. And there it is. I'm going to add power back into the system. All right, take some of that power out. You can see how sensitive it is. We don't want to chase it up and down. We just want to make small adjustments and get it right on the money. All right, so we are going to fly the visual approach into runway 5 left. We're going to aid that with the ILS. The ILS will be auto-tuned on our FMS. Okay, so all of this has been complete before landing. Leave that up. Because we're doing a visual landing, we don't actually have ILS minimums, but I'm going to go ahead and set this to the ILS minimum. We're going to be backing it up with the ILS. Why not? The whole reason that we're getting a visual approach into Raleigh Durham has to do with the fact that it is pretty good weather across Raleigh, pretty good weather in the Raleigh area, so we should be able to make contact with the runway pretty far out. Get some lighting in here so it's a little easier to see. There we go. You don't want too much lighting because we are flying visual in the approach here. We want our eyes to be adjusted to the darkness outside, but
American 303, good evening, sir, Washington Center. Were you talking to Atlanta at all?
Going to go ahead and set our altimeter down to 6,000. So we've been given a descend via, so we manage our descent through the Malner 5 arrival. We know that our bottom altitude is going to be 6,000 feet, so we're going to set this to 6,000. Crossing autos to 6,000 feet and 210 knots. We're about 6.5 miles out from Smurf, 12.5 miles from Smurf to Malner, then another 6.2 miles from Malner to Nigel, across Nigel, 250 knots, 9,000 feet.
Thanks a lot for the service. Have a great night, great rest of your weekend. Zero Kilo Zulu.
Thank you, sir. You as well. That actually made my day. American 303, you are radar contact in the Washington Center at 19 miles at the southwest of the Danville VOR. Welcome aboard.
Okay, so I was dead wrong. That's not Raleigh. That's not the airport. Well, I don't think it is. But this is why we fly our instrument. I'm 18,000 feet above the surface. Of course, that's not Raleigh. Raleigh's going to be the bigger population center further out. All right, we are above the glide path, so I'm going to take engine power out. So when you see that, when you watch me take the engine power out, you'll see this start to scoot to the top because our descent rate starts to increase as we pull our engine power out. The reason for that is as we take our engine... Goodness, these people are weird.
I'll hug you next time.
Oh, this is the weirdest...
I promise.
This is the weirdest air traffic control I've ever experienced in VATSIM. This is definitely up there in weirdness. Going to make our altitude restriction for Malner. We'll pull a little more engine power out. We also need to slow. Going to set our speed to 250 knots, and with that, we're going to pull our engine power out to do so. All right, 250 knots has been set. All right, we set 250 on our MCP. We're going to slow to 250. Got power pretty much all the way to flight idle, cruise idle, if you will. Trying to expedite that descent. We are about 3 miles out from Nigel. We're going to bust our altitude pretty hard, only by about 6,000 feet. So I'm not sure why VNAV just jumped on us like that, but obviously if I was paying attention, I would have known better. Getting closer to our desired speed and altitude. So I got to cross autos at 6,000 feet. Hopefully the ILS auto-tunes. I'm not sure it will. But we're getting a visual approach anyway, so who cares? Heck, in reality, we would be able to see the airfield in Flight Sim World. We're not able to see the airfield quite yet. The field should be directly in front of us. So in the Flight Sim World, I would put money on it on being that open area there. That's probably the airfield itself, because it's pretty much a straight shot in.
Sky West 761, descend and maintain 4,000. Field is to your 12 o'clock, 30 miles. Probably won't have it yet, my guess is. But when you do, report it in sight.
Descend and maintain 4,000. We'll call the field in sight, Sky West 761. Okay, we've been cleared to 4,000 feet. I believe that to be the airfield. Okay, the ILS localizer DME frequency is going to be 109.1. Should be auto-tuned, but Probably isn't. Oh, it is auto-tuned. Okay, 109.1 is in the panel.
American 303.
So now we're just waiting
maintained
to
flight level 330
intercept and get
for
a
now.
signal.
Not,
Still putting money on that being the airfield right there. It's a big open area. It's not going to load in the sim yet, but that is probably it. I'm actually tempted to just say we got the airfield in sight.
Washington Center, good evening, Delta 856, fasten 17,300.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take this off. Flaps 1. Spoilers armed. Okay, flight attendants advise pass signs on. Reversers armed. Gear down in a moment. Slats set. And DC Center, Skywest 761, airfield site.
Skywest 761, thank you, sir. Clear visual approach, runway 5 left. Contact Washington Center 135.5.
135.5, cleared visual 5 left, Skywest 761. 135.5, looks like the ILS is, nope. Is the ILS active? No. Washington Center, Skywest 761, passing 7,500, inbound visual 5 left.
Skywest 761, Washington Center, roger, report the field in sight.
Field is in sight, 761.
Skywest 761, clear for the visual approach, 5 left.
Clear visual 5 left, 761. Okay, we'll slow our speed to 180 knots. So the ILS should, in fact, I'm going to go ahead and switch our nav source over to localizer 1. Approach course needs to be set for, there we go. There's the localizer, 054 degrees, or 56. All right, let's go ahead and intercept this localizer. Okay, arm approach mode. All right, we are tuned into the localizer DME. Doing about 180 knots. Our final approach, let's go to our performance page. 134 knots. Winds are pretty calm, so that's going to be our final approach speed. Looks like we are high as a kite. Go ahead and slow to our final approach speed, 134 knots. Gear down. Gear down. Get those flaps out. Okay, we've intercepted the localizer. And we are above glide slope. Okay, so you can see that that is now green instead of pink. That means that we are on the localizer. Pretty soon, it looks like we're going to intercept it from above at this rate. So we're going to maintain our current power profile, pretty much idle. And yeah, let's intercept this from above. Probably atypical, but probably atypical to an intercept from above, but we're going to do it. All right, we are inbound, runway 5 left, visual, backing it up with the ILS. We are on the ILS, center of the localizer, and now the glide slope. Going to have to put some power back in as we intercept that glide slope.
Continue descending via the CAP 3 arrival.
Got to slow down just a little bit.
Skywest 761, the wind 0603, runway 5 left, clear to land.
5 left, clear to land, 761, Skywest 761.
Southwest 1335.
Okay, we've got our clearance to land. We are currently 7.5 mile final, 45 left via visual. Got contact with the runway 5 left. Currently using the ILS to guide us in. You can see that we are just a little low, so I'm going to add power and try to maintain level altitude a little bit here. Shallow that descent out a little bit. It's a little left of glide slope, but this looks pretty good. Getting a little low there, so add a power. Add power. We're getting really low now, so adding power. All right, back on profile here. Maybe a tad low. There we go. Back on profile. All right, and inch just to the right a little bit. Still looking good on glide path. Adding power. Watching that airspeed. Adding power. Adding power. Adding power. Adding power. We're getting low. Adding a little more power. Here we go. We are
1335 radar contact. Stay altitude, please.
Passing. All right, there's the runway. Made the runway.
Yeah,
bring that power out.
Position checks. Climb and maintain 10,000. Proceed direct Shepherd.
Direct Shepherd up to 10,000, Southwest.
There we go. Okay, that was weird. Oh, Lord. Rough landing. Rough landing, but hey, we made it.
Skywest 761, welcome to Raleigh, right when able. Bravo to the ramp. Have a good night.
Okay, right when able, bravo to the ramp. Thanks for the service, Skywest 761. So, this has been a fun little flight from Atlanta to Raleigh Durham. It's been a pretty cool event. Had ATC coverage from startup to shutdown. If you like this video, hit the like and subscribe button. Be sure to let me know in the comment section if you'd like to see more condensed videos like this one. Obviously, with VRFR weather is more of a visual approach, but we did back it up with the ILS. Lots of fun as always. As always, it's been fun making this video, and I hope to see you guys later.
Take care.
See you, Mr. Castle.